Let's just say it. Modern dating is a joke, not the funny kind, the depressing kind. We live in a world where I miss you means I'm bored, and I love you means you're convenient right now. It's not about finding a real connection anymore. It's about who can make us feel wanted for a few fleeting seconds. We've traded depth for dopamine. You open your phone, swipe left, swipe right, and convince yourself that you're connecting, but you're not. You're shopping. People have become profiles, emotions have become emojis, and love has become a game of algorithms. The truth is, dating apps and social media didn't bring us closer together. They made us addicted to attention. They gave us the illusion of intimacy without any of the vulnerability that comes with it. Think about it. We crave messages, not meaning. We want the text back, not the talk through it. We say we want something real, but we don't even know what real feels like anymore because our standards for love are built on filters, fantasy, and fake chemistry. You post a story hoping someone specific watches it. You don't want to admit it, but you're waiting for that one name to pop up. When it does, dopamine rush. When it doesn't, anxiety. That's not romance. That's a digital slot machine for your self-worth. And here's the dark part. We're all complicit. We feed the system. We curate our lives pretending to be the best, happiest, hottest version of ourselves, all to attract someone doing the exact same thing. Two people playing pretend, hoping it turns into something real. It's not connection, it's performance. We've confused attention with affection and validation with value. Someone liking your post feels like love. Someone ignoring your text feels like rejection. We've wired our brains to interpret digital breadcrumbs as proof of emotional connection, and we wonder why we feel so empty. People don't fall in love anymore. They fall into validation cycles. You meet someone, it's exciting, intense, obsessive. You can't stop thinking about them. But it's not love you're craving. It's the high of being wanted, and when that high fades, so does the love. The saddest part? Deep down we know this. We know something's missing. We scroll through endless options, hoping the next swipe, the next DM, the next hey you will finally feel different. But all we're doing is numbing the loneliness with more noise. Modern dating didn't kill love. It just buried it under ego, fear, and likes. We don't want partners anymore. We want mirrors, someone who reflects back our desirability, our worth, our online persona. And yet, we still crave it. We still chase it, because even if the connection is fake, even if it's shallow, at least for a moment, it makes us feel seen. But ask yourself this: if the connection disappears the moment the attention does, was it ever real to begin with? Let's be real. Relationships aren't about connection anymore. They're about content. In today's world, people don't date for love. They date for aesthetic. The modern relationship isn't built on trust or intimacy. It's built on how good you look together in pictures. It's not about feeling loved, it's about looking loved. We've turned love into marketing. Think about it. Every couple post, every soft launch, every matching outfit. It's all part of the performance. You're not in a relationship anymore, you're in a brand partnership. You're curating your love life for likes, comments, and approval from strangers who don't even know you. Social media has infected how we see love. It's rewired our brains. You don't feel secure in your relationship until you prove it online. If they don't post you, you panic. If they like someone else's picture, you spiral. Because deep down, you've learned that what isn't seen doesn't exist. But what happens when your relationship becomes more about perception than connection? When you're more focused on the story than the substance? You start performing instead of living. You start choosing moments that will look good on camera instead of ones that feel good in real life. You argue but don't post it. You cry but crop it out. You filter the reality out of your love story until all that's left is a pretty lie. And somehow you start believing it too. This is the social media disease. The constant need to be seen replaces the need to feel. And what's worse, it's made everyone replaceable. Because the second things get difficult, you open your phone and realize there are thousands of other options just a swipe away. Why fix something when you can scroll to someone new? Social media has created a generation of people who can't sit with boredom, discomfort, or silence. If it's not exciting, if it's not Instagram-worthy, it's not worth keeping. We've confused novelty with happiness and attention with love. The constant exposure to perfect couples online has made real relationships feel broken by comparison. You start doubting your partner because they don't act like the TikTok couple who finish each other's sentences. You start questioning your worth because your relationship doesn't look as polished, as passionate, as effortless. But here's the truth no one wants to admit. Behind every perfect post is a fight, a doubt, a quiet resentment. Behind every curated love story is someone trying desperately to keep up the illusion. We're all performing. We're all chasing validation. And somewhere along the way, we forgot what intimacy feels like without an audience watching. Love used to be about two people. Now it's about who's watching them. So ask yourself, are you actually in love, or are you just addicted to being seen being in love? Because once love becomes content, it stops being real. Let's stop pretending. Dating today isn't about connection, it's about commerce. Love has turned into a marketplace, and everyone's selling something. Looks, status, lifestyle, attention, it's all currency now. Dating apps are the new stock exchange of desire, where everyone's value fluctuates based on how good they look, how much they make, or how much clout they carry. We don't fall in love anymore. We make transactions. Men chase beauty and youth, not because they're shallow, but because that's what the system rewards. Women chase security and attention, not because they're manipulative, but because that's what the system demands. Everyone's trying to maximize their return on investment. Swipe culture turned romance into economics. Every profile is a sales pitch. Here's why I'm desirable. Here's what I offer. You're not connecting, you're negotiating. You're scanning through people like products, looking for the best deal. We've reduced love to leverage. It's not, do I connect with this person? It's, what do I get from this person? And this is where it gets dark. Both men and women are losing in this system, but in completely different ways. Men are told they're only as valuable as what they can provide. Their worth is measured in income, ambition, and dominance. They grind themselves to exhaustion trying to earn love because somewhere along the way, affection became something you buy through success. And women, they're told their power lies in attraction, in being wanted. Their worth becomes tied to how much attention they can command, how many options they can attract, how many men are willing to compete. They're not chasing connection, they're protecting validation. So what do we end up with? A generation of people who don't want love, they want leverage. They don't want partnership, they want position. Relationships have become strategy games. Who holds the power? Who can walk away first? Who can make the other person chase more? That's why people play mind games instead of building trust. That's why vulnerability feels like weakness, and detachment feels like strength. Everyone's afraid of losing the upper hand. Everyone's terrified of being the one who cares more. We've forgotten that love isn't supposed to be earned, it's supposed to be shared. But the marketplace mentality doesn't care about that. It tells you to upgrade, to keep searching for something better, because why settle when there's always someone prettier, richer, or more exciting waiting on the next swipe? And the worst part, we call that freedom. But it's not freedom, it's emotional consumerism. A never-ending loop of chasing, using, and discarding people like products that expire the moment they stop giving us a high. Modern dating isn't broken because people stopped wanting love. It's broken because people started treating love like a business deal. And in a world where everyone's trying to win the game, no one's actually playing for love anymore. Effort is dead. We live in an era where people want relationships without responsibility, connection without commitment, and love without labor. Everyone wants the feeling of being loved, but no one wants to earn it anymore. Modern dating has become a fast food version of romance, quick, convenient, and disposable. We don't build anymore, we browse, and the reason is simple: too much choice. The abundance of options has destroyed patience. Why fix what's broken when you can just replace it? Why work through conflict when you can swipe your way to someone new by tonight? Love used to be something people fought for. Now it's something people scroll for. We've all become consumers of affection, addicted to the dopamine rush of something new, terrified of missing out on something better. That fear has poisoned us. It's why we ghost people without a second thought. Why we stay in situationships instead of relationships. Why we breadcrumb people, just enough to keep them interested, but never enough to commit. Because commitment means choosing one person, and choosing one person means giving up the illusion that something better is out there. We can't handle that. So we stay in limbo. We call it keeping our options open. But really, it's emotional cowardice dressed up as independence. Everyone's playing the same game. Don't text back too fast, don't care too much, don't be the one who tries harder. Because in this generation, effort is embarrassing. If you double text, you look desperate. If you show consistency, you look clingy. If you care, you lose power. So now everyone's pretending not to care, and everyone's miserable. We've normalized detachment, we glorify being unavailable, and we convince ourselves that's strength, when really it's fear. Fear of rejection. Fear of vulnerability. Fear of being the one left behind. We've turned love into a game of musical chairs, but no one wants to sit down. Everyone's circling, waiting for the perfect moment, the perfect person. And when the music stops, most people realize they're alone. Because while we were chasing better, we forgot to be better. We forgot that effort is what makes love real. It's what separates connection from convenience. Anyone can flirt, anyone can post a cute story or send a late-night text, but very few people can show up when it matters, when it's not easy or exciting anymore. Effort isn't supposed to be optional, it's the foundation of everything lasting. But in today's dating world, everyone's too afraid to build. So we settle for half love, half truths, and half effort, and we call it normal. But it's not normal. It's numb, and until we stop treating love like a temporary high and start treating it like something worth fighting for, we'll keep spinning in circles, surrounded by people, yet completely alone. Because in the death of effort, love never stood a chance. Let's be honest, people aren't falling in love anymore. They're just falling into patterns, the same story over and over. You meet someone, it's exciting. They seem different. You start to open up, to hope, and then it happens. The slow fade, the ghosting, the emotional distance, the excuses, the disappointment. And after a while, you stop hoping altogether. That's what modern dating has done to us. It's not just made love harder to find, it's made feeling harder to do. Everyone's emotionally exhausted. We've swiped ourselves numb. We've texted, flirted, and vibed our way into apathy. We're tired of trying, tired of being vulnerable just to get ghosted. Tired of catching feelings just to realize the other person was only half interested. So now, instead of connecting, we protect. We build walls disguised as standards. We keep our guards up and our hearts locked away. We pretend we're fine with casual, when deep down we're starving for something real. But real takes effort, and effort takes energy. And nobody has that anymore. Because the truth is, the constant cycle of shallow connections burns you out. It drains your soul. Every almost relationship chips away at your capacity to trust. Every text left on read reinforces the lie that you're not enough. Every "what are we" conversation that goes nowhere kills a little piece of your hope. We've mistaken emotional survival for strength. We call it protecting our peace, but really it's emotional fatigue. It's not peace, it's numbness. We don't date to connect anymore. We date to avoid loneliness. We crave validation, not vulnerability. We've learned how to talk, but not how to feel. It's all surface level now, curated smiles, fake confidence, and temporary attention. No one looks deeper. No one stays long enough to. And even when someone good does come along, we're too emotionally tired to believe it's real. We overthink it. We sabotage it. We scroll back to the chaos that feels familiar because peace feels foreign. We mistake boredom for incompatibility, and we confuse anxiety for passion. And so we repeat the cycle, again and again, until one day you wake up and realize you haven't felt anything real in years. Just little highs and constant lows. Love used to set your soul on fire, now it just feels like another chore. That's emotional burnout. The quiet, invisible exhaustion that makes people stop trying. And the worst part? It's contagious. Everyone's too guarded to love, too tired to care, too broken to build. We've built a generation that knows everything about talking stages, ghosting, and bare minimum effort. but nothing about real intimacy. We've learned to protect ourselves from pain, but in doing so, we've also protected ourselves from love. Because when you've been hurt enough times, you stop risking it altogether. And that's how love dies. Not in betrayal, not in heartbreak, but in silence, in indifference, in exhaustion. That's the emotional burnout, and it's the quietest tragedy of modern love. It's easy to believe love is dead, that everyone's shallow, that every talking stage ends in disappointment, every good morning text fades into ghosting, and every connection is just another temporary distraction. But here's the haunting truth. Love isn't gone. It's just buried. Buried under filters, ego, and fear. See, not everyone is doomed. Not everyone is lost in this endless scroll of validation. There are still people out there, rare but real, who crave something deeper than attention. People who want connection, not convenience. People who want effort, not entertainment. But to find them, you have to do something terrifying. You have to unlearn everything this generation taught you about love. You have to stop thinking of relationships as games, stop treating vulnerability as weakness, and stop chasing the thrill of attention that never lasts. Because love isn't supposed to be a performance. It's not about looking perfect, winning validation, or collecting admirers. It's about choosing, and continuing to choose, someone even when it's not convenient. Real love doesn't move fast. It doesn't impress you with grand gestures or go viral on TikTok. It grows slowly, quietly, through honesty, through presence, through the small moments no one else sees. But that kind of love requires something this generation is afraid to give: patience. You'll have to wait when everything else tells you to move on. You'll have to stay when walking away feels easier. You'll have to trust when every instinct screams not to. And yes, it's risky. Real connection always is. Because to love someone truly, you have to let them see you, not the filtered version, not the curated version, you. The world doesn't reward that anymore. It rewards the loudest, the flashiest, the most followed. But love doesn't care about followers, it only cares about truth. So maybe the real rebellion now, in a world built on options, is commitment. Maybe the bravest thing you can do is choose one person and mean it. Not halfway, not until something better comes along, but fully, because when everything around us is disposable, devotion becomes rare. And rare things are always valuable. It won't be easy. You'll be tempted to compare, to question, to run. You'll miss the chaos you thought was passion, and you'll crave the validation that once made you feel seen. But if you can push through that noise, if you can stay, you'll find something this generation forgot how to recognize: peace. The kind of peace that doesn't need to be posted. The kind that feels safe, real, quiet. So no, love isn't dead. It's just hiding behind our distractions, waiting for the few brave enough to look past them. Because in a world full of options, the bravest thing you can do is choose one person and mean it.